Hello students, myself Milan Patel, Assistant Professor at LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology. Today's topic is about brick masonry. So let's start. In brick masonry, first of all we will see what is brick masonry. This brick masonry is made of brick units bonded together with mortar. Okay, you can clearly see how brick masonry looks like. Okay. Second is various terms used in brick masonry. Let's see. Here you can clearly see the brick, right? This is called as header. A header is a shorter face of brick having size 9 cm by 9 cm as seen in the elevation of the wall. This is called as stretcher. A stretcher is a longer face of the brick having size 19 cm by 9 cm and as seen in elevation of the wall. The below portion of the brick is called as bed. It is called as lower surface having size 19 cm by 9 cm of the brick when the brick laid flat onto the layer. Okay, this is called as arises. It is nothing but the edges of the brick. This portion is called as frog. It is a mark of depth about 10 mm to 20 mm, which is placed on the face of the brick to form a key for holding the mortar for proper bonding. Okay, so this frog is generally provided for marking the brand and also for proper bonding with other bricks. Okay, now let's see various terms used in brick masonry. First is lap. This lap is the horizontal distance between the vertical joints of successive brick courses. Second is perpend. A perpend is an imaginary vertical line which includes the vertical joint separating two adjoining bricks. Okay, you can clearly see perpend in this elevation of brick wall. Okay. Third is quoin. It is the corner or external angle on the face side of the wall. Okay, you can clearly see quoin in this figure. The next is racking back. It is a termination of wall in a step fashion as shown in this figure. Okay, this portion is called as racking back. Okay, next is toothing. It is a termination of wall in such a fashion that each alternate course at end projects in order to provide adequate bond if the wall is continue horizontally at later stage. Okay, this is called as toothing. Okay. Next is closer. It is a portion of brick with the cut made longitudinally and is used to close up bond at the end of the courses. Okay, in which whereas there are various types of closers. First is queen closer. It is a portion of brick obtained by cutting a brick lengthwise into two portions. If you cut the brick lengthwise into two portions, this half portion is called as the queen closer half. Okay, the queen closer is a brick which is half as wide as the full brick. Okay, this is also known as queen closer half. You can clearly see how queen closer half looks like in this figure. Next is queen closer quarter. Okay, when a queen closer is broken into two pieces, it is known as queen closer quarter. Such a closer is thus a brick piece which is one quarter or you can say one fourth of the actual brick size. Okay, this is how queen closer quarter looks like. Next is king closer. It is a portion of brick which is so cut that the width of one of its end is half that of a full brick and the width of the other end is equal to the full width. Okay, it is called as the king closer. The um, next is bevel closer. It is a special form of a king closer in which the whole length of the brick is beveled in such a way that the half width is maintained at one end and the full width is maintained at the other end. Okay. Next is meter closer. It's a portion of brick whose one end is cut splayed or meter for full width. Okay. The angle of splay may vary from 45 degree to 60 degree. This is how king closure, bevel closure, and meter closure looks like. Okay. Next is a bat. It is a portion of brick cut across the width. Okay. If you cut the brick in the widthwise, okay, it is called as the bat. Okay. Thus, a bat is smaller in length than the full brick. Next is half bat. If the length of the bat is equal to the half of the length of the original brick, it is known as the half bat. Okay. Next is three-quarter bat. It is one having its length equal to three quarters of the length of the actual brick. Okay. Next is beveled bat. If a bat has its width beveled like this in this figure, it is known as a bevel bat. Okay. This is how half bat, three-quarter bat, and bevel bat looks like. That's all about the various terms used in brick masonry. Now let's see brick bonding, in which first of all we will see what is brick bonding. This bonding is the process of arranging bricks in number of courses or layers with mortar to tie them together in a mass of brickwork. Okay, this is called as brick bonding. In brick bonding, there are also some rules for proper bonding. Let's see these types of rules. First rule is all the bricks are of uniform in size and the length of brick should be equal to 2 times the width of brick. Okay. Second rule is the lap should not be greater than one-fourth of brick along the length, and the lap should not be more than one half of brick across the wall thickness. Okay, this is the second rule for proper bonding. Next is the brick batch should be avoided in the brick bonding for proper strength of the brick wall. Okay. Next is vertical joints in alternate courses should be in vertical lines. Okay. The vertical joints in alternate courses should be in one line. Okay. Next is in thick wall, stretchers at facing and headers at hearting should be provided. Okay. Next, at every sixth layer, header on both sides of wall should be avoided. Okay. That's all about the various rules for proper brick bonding. Now let's see the various types of brick bonds. There are number of types of brick bonds like stretcher bond, header bond, English bond, Flemish bond, garden wall bond, facing bond, raking bond, Dutch bond, English cross bond, zigzag bond, brick on edge bond, etc. We will see these all types of brick bonds one by one, starting with stretcher bond. This is how stretcher bond looks like, in which all the layers of the wall is made with number of stretchers only. Okay, you can clearly see these all layers are made with stretchers. No headers are used in this type of bond. Okay, here in this figure you can clearly see how the layers can be made in this stretcher bond. First is for 1, 3 and 5 layer. Okay, this 1, 3 and 5 layer will be made with this type of figure. Okay, and 2, 4, 6 layer, or you can say even layers, should be made like this. Okay, this is how elevation of the stretcher bond looks like, and this is the isometric view of the stretcher bond. Okay, second is header bond. This is how header bond looks like, in which all the layers are made with header. Okay, in this, to avoid vertical joints in one line, we will use 3/4 bat at the corner. Okay, at alternate courses like this. You can clearly see 3/4 bat at elevation. Okay, to make this header bond on odd layer, it should be laid like this, and in even layers, header should be laid like this. Okay, the isometric view of the header bond looks like this. Okay, this is called as header bond, in which only headers are used, no stretchers are used here. Okay. Now let's see the third type, which is English bond. This is how English bond looks like. In English bond, one layer is made with stretcher, the other layer is made with header, then stretcher, then header, etc. Okay, this is how English bond looks like. To avoid vertical joints in one line, pin closure is provided at alternate courses. This is the formation of English bond for one brick wall. What is the meaning of one brick wall? The width of wall is about one brick, okay, which is exactly 19 centimeter. Or you can, if you add the mortar layer, the width of wall is about 20 centimeter. Okay, so in this English bond, for one brick wall, the first layer is of stretcher, which is given like this, which is laid like this, stretcher layout plan, and the another layer is of headers, which is laid like this, header layer plan. Okay, and the actual elevation of the English bond is looks like this. Okay, to avoid vertical joints in one line, we use queen closure, which is nothing but the half portion along the length of the brick. Okay, and these queen closure are used near the corner of the wall at alternate courses. Okay, this is called as English bond for one brick wall. Now let's see the English bond for one and a half brick wall. Okay, this is how you can make the English bond for one and a half brick wall. The structure should be laid like this as per structure layer plan, and the headers, which is the second layer, which is laid like this header layer plan. Okay, and the actual elevation of the one and a half brick wall looks like this. And to avoid vertical joints in one line, we use pin closer like this. Okay, this is the English bond for two brick wall, where the thickness of the wall is two brick. Okay, in which the stretcher layer is laid as per the plan of stretcher course, and the header layer is placed like the plan of the header course. If you laid the bricks like this plan, you can easily make English bond for two brick wall. Okay, that's all about the English bond. Next is Flemish bond. This is how Flemish bond looks like. If you compare this Flemish bond with English bond, you can clearly see in each layer, one stretcher, one header, one stretcher, one header is placed. In English bond, whole layer is made with stretcher, whole layer is made with header. This is the main difference between English bond and Flemish bond. Okay, you can clearly see each layer is made of one stretcher, one header, one stretcher, one header, like this. Okay, and to avoid vertical joints in one line, we will use three-quarter closure like this in this figure at the corner of the wall. Okay, this Flemish bond is of various types like single Flemish bond and double Flemish bond. So what is the meaning of single Flemish bond? The single Flemish bond has the view of Flemish bond only in one side, either on facing or in backing. Okay, you can clearly see here only facing part of the wall has the Flemish bond or Flemish view, like stretcher, header, like this. In the backing part, it looks like the English bond because the first layer, which is 135 course, you can clearly see the plan of 135 course. The backing part is of number of headers. Okay, so one layer is of one number of headers in the backing part, and in the even layers, which is 2, 4, 6 course, the backing part is of number of stretchers. So if you stand inside the room, you can clearly see on the headers at 1, 3, the 5 layer, and on the stretchers on 2, 4, 6 courses. So it looks like English one in the inner portion of the wall, or you can say in the backing part. Okay, but if you stand outside the wall, or at from if you see from the facing, you clearly see the Flemish one like stretcher header in every layers. Okay, this is called as single Flemish bond. Only on one side, Flemish appearance looks like. Okay, this is the plan of single Flemish bond for 1.5 brick wall. Okay, to avoid vertical joints in one line, we will use 3/4 brick or quarter pad like this. Okay, this is the single Flemish bond for 2 brick wall. Okay, you can clearly see the only on facing part Flemish appearance looks like. In backing part, English appearance is that. Now let's see the double Flemish bond. Here, this is the plan of a double Flemish bond for 1.5 brick wall for 135 layer and 246 layer. Here in double Flemish bond, in facing as well as in backing, the Flemish appearance is there. Okay, like a header, stretcher, like this. Okay, uh, if you compare this double Flemish bond with single Flemish bond, in single Flemish bond, only in facing part Flemish appearance is observed, while in double Flemish bond, in facing as well as in backing, the Flemish appearance is observed. Okay, this is the difference between single Flemish bond and double Flemish bond. Okay, in double Flemish bond, the hearting portion contain the beds. Okay, like this. And to avoid vertical joints in one line, we will use queen closer in this double Flemish bond. Okay, that's all about the Flemish bond. Now let's compare the English bond with Flemish bond. Okay, these are the formation or you can say plans of English bond and Flemish bond. First of all, we will compare the layers of English bond and Flemish bond. In English bond, alternate layers are made with stretchers and headers, while in Flemish bond, each layer is made with alternate stretchers and headers. Okay, this is the difference between English bond and Flemish bond by means of layers. Second, if we compare this English bond and Flemish bond with strength point of view, English bond has more strength compared to Flemish bond because in Flemish bond, number of bats are used in the hearting portion, which reduces the actual strength of the wall. Based on attractiveness, if you compare English bond and Flemish bond is more attractive in nature compared to the English bond. Okay. Next, based on economy point of view, English bond is more costlier than the Flemish bond because in English bond all the bricks are the full bricks, while in Flemish bond if you can use the beds of the bricks. Okay. In terms of easy of construction, English bond is very easy to construct because full bricks are easily used, while in Flemish bond the construction is not easy. Okay, there is a requirement of the supervisor in this Flemish bond. Next is appearance in facing and backing. In English double brick wall, the facing part and the backing part has two different appearances because in facing part the first layer is shown like stretchers while in backing part the first layer is shown like the headers while in double Flemish bond, okay, having a two brick wall thickness, the facing part and the you can say backing part have same appearance. Okay, so this is the difference in appearance in facing and backing part in two brick wall thickness of English bond and Flemish bond. Next, in hearting, in English bond, no brick bats are used in hearting, while in double Flemish bond, uh, in hearting, number of brick bats are used. Okay, so this is the difference between English bond and Flemish bond. Okay, next is garden wall bond. This is how garden wall bond looks like. The arrangement of bricks in garden wall is similar to that of English bond, except that the heading cords are only inserted at every fourth or sixth layer, whereas stretchers are used in consequent courses every third, fifth, and seventh layer. Okay, so you can clearly see the first three layers are of stretchers, then the fourth layer is of headers. Okay, or you can use as six layer also. Okay, here not alternate layers of stretchers and headers are used like English bond. Okay, This is the difference between English bond and Garter-Ball bond. In short, the arrangement consists of one course of headers and three courses of stretchers. The queen closer is placed next to the queen header of heading course. Forgive the necessary left. Okay, so to avoid these vertical joints in one line, you can use queen closer here in quadrant wall bond also. Okay, you can clearly see queen closer in this gray color. Okay. Next type of brick bond is facing bond. This is how facing bond looks like. This facing bond is used where the bricks of specific thickness are to be used in facing and backing of the wall. In this bond, the header course is provided after several stretcher courses. Okay, as the thickness of bricks is different in facing and backing, the vertical distance between successive header courses is kept equal to the least common multiple of thickness of backing and facing brick. That is, if the nominal thickness of facing bricks is 9 cm and that of bricks is 10 cm, the header course is provided at the vertical interval of 90 cm, which is the multiplication of 9 and 10. Okay, this type of bond is not structurally efficient and load distribution is not uniform in this case because the thickness is different in facing and backing. Okay. Next type of bond is racking bond. In this bond, the bonding bricks are laid at any angle except 0 or 90 degrees. This type of arrangement helps to increase the longitudinal stability of thick walls built in English bond. In this pattern of bonding, the space between the all external stretches of wall is filled using bricks inclined to the face of the wall. Racking bond is introduced at certain intervals along with the height of any wall. Okay, there are two patterns you can construct in a racking bond. First is herringbone pattern, and second is diagonal pattern. Okay, let's see these two patterns, or you can say two types of racking bond. First is a diagonal bond. This is how diagonal bond looks like. It is best suited for walls of 2 to 4 brick thickness. If the thickness of the wall is more, you can use this type of diagonal bond. This diagonal bond is normally introduced at every fifth or seventh course along with the height of the wall. Okay, bricks in this type of bond are placed end to end in such a way that extreme corners of the sequence remain in contact with stretchers. Okay. Next type of racking bond is herringbone bond. This type of bond is suited for very thick walls, usually not less than 4 bricks thick. Okay. In this pattern of brickwork, bricks are laid in course inclined at 45 degrees in two directions from the center. Okay, you can clearly see herringbone bond in this figure. Okay, the difference between diagonal bond and herringbone bond is nothing but in herringbone bond, the bricks are inclined at 45 degree in two directions, while in diagonal bond, the bricks are inclined at 45 degree but in one direction. Okay, this type of bond is commonly used for brick paving or you can say uh, pavement work also. Okay, that's all about the racking bond. Next is touch bond. This is a modified form of English cross bond which consists of alternate courses of headers and stretchers. Okay. In this arrangement of brick bond, every single stretching course begins at queen with three-quarter bat. Okay. You can clearly see the every stretcher course has the one three-quarter bat and next to this three-quarter bat, one header is used. Okay. This is the difference between English bond and the Dutch bond. This bond is perfect to construct strong corners along the walls which are subjected to excess loads. Okay. Next type of bond is English cross bond. This is similar to English bond and consists of alternate courses of headers and stretchers. However, in this bond, queen closers are introduced next to queen header. Okay, you can clearly see queen closer are used next to queen header, which is nothing but the header at the corner. Okay, at each alternate stretching course has header placed next to queen stretcher. Okay, you can clearly see in alternate stretcher courses, one header is introduced after queen stretcher. Okay, And in header, all header courses, okay, a queen closer is introduced after queen header. Okay, this is the main difference between English bond and English cross bond. This bond is sufficiently strong and bears a good elevation compared to English bond. Next type of bond is zigzag bond. This is how zigzag bond looks like. This is similar to herringbone bond with the only difference that in this case the bricks are laid in a zigzag fashion. Okay, this is commonly adopted in brick paved flooring. And the last type of brick bond is brick on edge bond. Okay, in this type of bond, you stretch your bricks on edges instead of bed. Okay, like this. This bond is weak in strength, but it is economical. Hence, it is used for garden walls, compound walls, etc. Bricks are kept standing vertically on end. The bricks are arranged as headers and stretchers in such a manner that headers are placed on bed and stretchers are placed on edge, thus forming a continuous cavity. Due to this, the bond consumes less number of bricks than the other bonds. Okay, you can use this type of bond where there is no load provision on the top of the wall. Okay, that's all about the various types of brick bonds. Thank you for watching.